What's up YouTube, PokePrimer here, proud to deliver you our week number 8 team builder here in PRD. This week we are taking on our boy Nate and the Baltimore Predacons. Once again, I always love playing Nate. Nate is a good friend of mine, so it's never a bad time to play my homie. This is going to be an interesting matchup. So, his team consists of G-Max Appleton, Duskmane Necrozma, Dracovish, Politoed, Rotom Heat, Seismitoad, Mimikyu, Obstagoon, Galvantula, Ludicolo, Cofagrigus. Oh my lord, that is the worst way I've ever seen Cofagrigus spelled. Jesus Christ, that is a horrible thing. And then Galarian Rapidash as his D-Max captain. So, a couple things about this team. It's a rain team, and it's a really well-supported rain team. So, it's got a lot of rain options with Ludicolo, Seismitoad, has like Swift Swimmers, Dracovish, just as pure hard-hitting rain offense. And then things like Thick Fat Appleton, which can just ignore fire types entirely in the rain. Duskmane Necrozma, which heavily benefits from rain's help. It's got webs from Galvantula to further increase the devastation that this thing can do, that this team can do. It's a really well put together team. So definitely going to be a threat to face for sure. He has not been doing great this season. He's actually 1-7, but that does not mean I'm going to take this match lightly because it is Nate, and he also had a similar record in MPBF, and we lost that match. Granted, we lost it to a crit. I believe it was a crit that killed us in that situation. If I remember correctly, it was a crit that lost our Mon that walled the rest of his team. But even still, things like that can happen, so I'm not going to take things lightly. So, first thing we are going to be bringing here is going to be Suzaku the Tapu Koko, once again. Suzaku is here, and of course we're going to bring Suzaku because it is a rain team. We are Choice Scarfed Tapu Koko with Thunder, Grass Knot, Dazzling Gleam, and U-Turn. 136 speed, max special attack, and then 120 into HP. The 136 speed is to outpace Derp. What is that outspeeding? Why do I have that much speed? Genuinely, why do I have that much speed? You know, it's because I'm scarfed. I believe this allows me to outpace. No, that can't be right. Well, where's my phone? I'm gonna run some calcs. I need to know why this has this much speed. Why this has so much speed. Because this just feels like a lot of speed. And there has to be a reason for it, because it's me and I don't put speed on things if there's no reason for it. Seismitoad. Offensive. Hopefully this works this time. Seismitoad, put you at +2. 494, put you timid. 542, okay. Let's take a look at this Tapu Koko. You're timid with 136. We are choice. Not specs. We are choice scar 544. Okay. So that makes sense now. The reason we are this speed is it allows us to outpace a Seismitoad even in the rain. So if we scout that the Seismitoad is not Rindoberry, we can come in on this thing even if it's in the rain, and we click Grass Knot, and we're able to just knock it out, which is fantastic. Thunder nukes so many members of this team, and we can potentially get the pairs from the Thunders, which would be great as well. U-turn just allows us to keep up momentum. Even if the Seismitoad tries to switch in on us, that will not be a problem. And then Dazzling Gleam just gives us a way of hitting things that resist both Thunder and Grass Knot. Allows us to hit the Appleton, gives us something to hit the Galvantula, stuff like that. So that is our top Go-Go. Next up, we are bringing Kurama, the G-Max Flapple. I felt like I kind of had to bring G-Max Flapple since he has G-Max Appleton. It just kind of made sense to bring the two Apple Boys in the same week. We have the Yachi Berry with the Hustle ability, Dual Wing Beat, Grav Apple, Outrage, and Iron Defense. So, with Iron Defense is kind of interesting here. I'm going to try to force something out with this. Get an Iron Defense off, right? Because the things that would be problematic for this mon include Seismitoad, potentially, no, not really Seismitoad, but like kind of Seismitoad, Galarian Rapidash, and Mimikyu. If I can get Iron Defense up, I don't really have to worry about them that much, and I can max up, fire off, max Airstreams, get my speed going, and then really, really proceed to start messing him up. Because if I get the +2 speed, then it forces a speed tie with Ludicolo if he's not if he's timid, which is perfect. I would not mind a speed tie, but I guarantee live the hit even if he's not, or if he does outspeed me because we get the Yachi Berry, so we can get fast and fast and fast. We nuke a lot of members of this team. We are unfortunately walled by Necrozma, but the thing about this is we can just spam Max Warmwind against that thing, keep its attack stat mad low. We're still going to do decent chunks of damage because our attacks aren't being weakened by Prism Armor. And we can get the attack drops on that thing, which would be really nice. This thing's I'm more or less bringing it because it's a bulky grass type, against a rain team. This also gives us the ability to beat down Dracovish. We chew a Fish's Rend, especially after an Iron Defense, which is also nice. And yeah, Flapple is just awesome. I love Flapple. Good boy, Flapple. Next up, we have Gourmet, the Runerigus with the Pasho Berry, Wandering Spirit ability, of course, Stealth Rock, Will-O-Wisp, Poltergeist, and Trick Room. Fully physically defensive, but I actually put 4 into Spadef and Sassy Nature instead of anything else. So, one thing with this, I wanted to be slower than Cofagrigus on his team, as well as slower than Appleton. So, that's why I went with the Sassy Nature. Poltergeist hits everything on their team really, really hard. It's just a hard-hitting move. Will-O-Wisp is going to be crucial because it allows us... the goal is kind of get a Trick Room up at some point so that we can, kind of cripple some of their rain aspects as well. That's why we have the Pasho Berry. We can Will-O-Wisp and burn things like the Necrozma. We can burn the Dracovish. The Seismitoad if it's physical. Mimikyu. All things that I would love to burn. Unfortunately, this set is walled by Obstagoon if it shows up. I don't know if it does, but it's something to think about. But, yeah, Trick Room is just could be fun. It's literally, this thing's not meant to like sweep the team or anything. Trick Room is just meant to get Trick Room up and potentially cause some massive damage. Plus, it could be useful as well if this thing gets Trick Room up and like dies. We can go into something like Kurama and use that time just to max up and break through, because Kurama will be slower than a lot of mons on Nate's team because of the rain and stuff, speeding them up. Kurama is naturally slower than most mons on Nate's team, so that gives it the opportunity to put in a lot of extra effort, a lot of extra work, which would be really cool. Next up, we have Chew the Wheezing, the Black Sludge. Neutralizing Gas, Sludge Bomb, Toxic Spikes, Will-O-Wisp, and Pain Split. This is kind of our dedicated lead, because I could very well see him leading with the Politoed. And I fully expect Politoed to be a little bulky, so that's why I have this speed investment, because this speed investment allows us to be faster than a non-speed invested Politoed. And if he's non-speed invested, that means that his Drizzle would technically activate after my ability. And if my Neutralizing Gas goes off first, he does not set his Rain off right off the bat, which immediately puts me in the driver's seat. Immediately puts me in a better spot. I have Sludge Bomb, Toxic Spikes, Will-O-Wisp, Pain Split. This thing is just kind of here to be a nuisance to his team. Obviously, like, we do live hits from a lot of things, because we are very physically bulky. And Neutralizing Gas kind of helps in a lot of instances. For example, it takes away the extra Strong Jaw boost for the fish spreads from Dracofish, which is very nice. Takes away Guts from Obstagoon, so Obstagoon can't touch us, really, at all, which is great. It's a really fantastic ability. Neutralizing Gas is a lot of fun. Also takes away Swift Swim, if I remember correctly, so that's kind of fun as well. So that's kind of interesting to know. Yeah, Sludge Bomb is pretty much safe against most mons on their team. If I can get the poisons off, that's great. I have to Will-O-Wisp the Necrozma, because Necrozma comes in for free against this, but I can Will-O-Wisp on it, Pain Split, and get some damage back. Get some health back and whatnot. Toxic Spikes, I can just throw Toxic Spikes up for free. He doesn't have a poison type, so I can get a lot of things poisoned, and that could be really problematic for him. Especially something like the Obstagoon, too, would be nice to get poisoned, as well as the Mimikyu. Get those things chipped down, and also prevent the Obstagoon from getting a Flame Orb on it, so at least if it gets like a regular poison or a toxic poison, it will be taking a lot more damage, which I think would be really awesome for us in this matchup. So, yeah, that's playing with Chew. Next up, we have Yusuke, the Silvally Grass, and this is basically one of my best ways of dealing with Dracofish. Also helps a little bit with Ludicolo, and a lot with Seismitoad. We have Multi-Attack, Parting Shot, Tailwind, and Defog. This thing is the ultimate support mon to beat a rain team. Multi-Attack allows us just to smack something really hard with a solid grass type move. We have enough speed to outpace. I believe this outpaces like max speed Duskmane Necrozma. I believe that is the case here, because it's like base 77 speed or something like that, which is really weird. Necrozma comes into this thing, we Parting Shot out immediately, no hesitation. We have Defog, so that we can deal with Galvantula's webs if it does indeed come. I want to be able to get rid of those webs ASAP. That could be very problematic for a lot of things, so I just want them gone, especially problematic for Suzaku to prosper. And Tailwind is so big, because if we're not doing the Trick Room strat, if we don't have Trick Room up, Tailwind just puts us in a position to outspeed everything on their team. And if we can outspeed everything on their team, that is massive for a lot of members. It gives us that double speed, so that it makes the rain boosts for the Swift Swimmers completely useless. If I can get a Tailwind up with this thing outspeeds like everything on their team anyway. So that's pretty awesome. And then I can also parting shot out and go into something even more offensively threatening and then deal with things even more appropriately then. Something like Seaman or Kyogre. Yes, we are bringing our Rain Setter against the Rain team. What am I doing? I'm just going to kill stuff, dude. Listen, I know that this thing sets up Rain, and that's fine. It's still a Kyogre. So I'm running Choice Scarf Kyogre, enough speed to outpace Rotom Heat, max speed Rotom Heat, and below. Water Spout, Ice Beam, Thunder, and Orange Pulse. So, like, listen. I know, like, this is a rain team and all that shit, but, like, Choice Scarf, Water Spout from a Kyogre? If you're not immune or 4 times resistant, you're not taking that nicely. You're not going to take that hit. So you don't want to take that hit. So that's what I'm doing here. The whole purpose of this thing is just to click Water Spout and kill half of his team. Which is great. I love that idea. But we also have Ice Beam, Thunder, and Origin Pulse. Ice Beam allows us to catch something like the Dragovish or the Ludicolo on the switch-in. Get some really good chip damage on those. Or the Thunder could be used for that as well. Thunder allows us to break things like the Politoed more effectively. And then I have Origin Pulse as, like, once we get chipped too much so that Water Spout gets a little weaker, we have Origin Pulse as a backup Water Stab to nuke his team with. So this Kyogre is just here to wreck shop, because if Rain's going to be up for most of the game, I'm going to try to take advantage of it as much as possible, because I am a Kyogre, and what else am I meant to do? So that is going to be our team. Stick around tomorrow for the battle. Until next time, I'm PokePrimer, signing off. Peace.